welcome to the stage, everybody. I see one hand up at the moment. Let me see where that is. We will take questions at the end. So there are going to be some pretty awesome prizes today. We'll welcome on stage Zoe from ChainMyth, and I've been following this game for quite a while. It's been a really interesting journey, and I like the game because it's unique. It's got a different spin, the storylines to it, the gods and goddesses, and we will get into a lot of stuff about the game. So we're going to get very heavy in that in the first half hour, and then we will have some questions at the end, and there's big prizes. So Zoe's put on a NFT for the game, ChainMyth, and that'll be a custom. Is that correct, Zoe? Just so I don't say the wrong thing.
Yes, correct. Everything will be custom.
And 1.5 Sol. So that'll be split amongst 3 people. So get thinking. We've got lots of questions that can be asked. I never get everything asked on stage. We love having the interactions from people, what makes it important to them. You can see there is also another channel a little bit below us for the meme events. Where did that go? That has moved now. Contests. Under contests, there's a channel called ChainMyth Meme Contest. That's another one that we put on. Anything that's got an Indian sort of theme to it, mix it in with some ChainMyth, put a meme in there. That's going to be going for 1 week. And next Saturday night, we'll close the channel. We'll spend a couple of days debating over the winners. That'll come down from crowd interactions, and Zoe and myself will go through that. And we'll get out some neat prizes. Again, it's going to be one NFT and another 1.5 Sol. So super generous prizes. Rack your brains. I want to see some good alpha questions. And welcome to stage, Zoe. Thank you so much for coming along. Would you like to introduce yourself first, and then your team of ChainMyth?
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for hosting this stage and giving me the chance to speak here. And hi to all the listeners out here. So I'm Zoe from Singapore, and I'm the team lead analyst of ChainMyth. So we are building this game called ChainMyth. It's focused on 2 different game genres, which is FPS and MOBA. So we are a team of 12 members. We have 2 game developers, 4 modelers, and 2 smart contract developers. And regarding VFX and SFX kind of works, we'll be outsourcing to a studio. So the things which will be handled by our team is just the front end, back end, and animation works. So anything related to SFX and VFX will be outsourced to a studio. So I'll just give a small intro about myself, how I got into crypto, and what really made me develop this game, come up with this idea, how we formed the team, what's the utilities of NFTs, what's our long-term plan, everything I'll be discussing here. So I'm into crypto space for the last 3 years, and what really got me fascinated and excited about this space was during DeFi summer, which was last year. Before Solana, I was very active on Ethereum. I was interacting with a lot of different dApps and experiments. So my first ever dApp which I interacted was this thing called Yam Finance. That's the first yield farming dApp, if I'm not wrong. That's when I really understood the potentials of smart contracts, how it can automate all the middleman jobs, how your digital assets can earn you yields just by staking. So that was my first ever dApp which I interacted on Ethereum chain, followed by all these lending protocols like Aave and Maker Compound, where I can just borrow stables, followed by all these rebase tokens like Ampleforth. So these are the kind of innovations and experiments on this blockchain space which really got me interested to dig in deeper and understand the potential of smart contracts and automating things. So back then, even before NFT became mainstream, I had these ideas. So this idea was since last year, August. So me and my friends, we are a group of Dota players. So for me, how I look into gaming is it's a piece for me. I mean, gaming is a thing for me to connect with my friends. For me, it's a kind of medium where I can just get in touch with my friends because everyone are in different parts of the world. So gaming is the only way I can get in touch with all my friends. So I'm a very hardcore Dota player with more than 7 years. I've been playing this game for 7 years with more than 15,000 hours spent on that game. So
Do you
since
still get
last
it? Do you
year,
still get any time to play that now, Zoe, while you're building?
it's been almost a year since I played it. Ever since I got into blockchain space, I hardly played. Yep. So i- we saw NFT going mainstream mid of this year, but I came to know about NFTs during last year August. So that's when I always used to talk to with my friends. Like there's a lot of use cases around NFTs rather than just an artwork, because artwork is just 1% of what NFTs can do. There are a lot of multiple use cases where you can push utilities to the NFTs and let your NFTs do the work. So if you look at games like Dota, all the all the virtual assets which you see on the screen is everything is centrally stored on the server end. So I was telling my friends, it will be awesome if we can just if you can just tokenize all these kind of assets and let this be owned by all the NFT owners. Let it be totally decentralized, store it on a decentralized platform like Aave, and let the control be with the NFT owners and not the creators. So, and also there's this thing called MMR where you can earn points. It's a ranked mode where you can earn points. So I always used to give ideas to my friends like, it will be awesome if we can just earn in-game currencies instead of points. So these are the kind of small ideas which we always used to discuss last year. But during that time, we did not have a team to build. We did not have the right resource. There was no game developers or modelers or animators. We had no resource at that point of time. So uh, it was just an idea since then. And mid of this year, we saw NFTs started going mainstream. We saw a lot of people started believing in NFTs and started trading it. Honestly speaking, at first I thought NFTs was just it was just a scam. I thought that people are just wash trading, just creating fake hype and fake demand. But after noticing the trading volume going up and people start believing it, that's when I told my friends, we should start building a game. We should start pushing utilities to NFTs, and instead of just an artwork, we can bring NFTs to the next level and let people, I mean the people who are holding NFTs, let them do the job. Let the NFTs do the job instead of just holding on the wallet and speculating. Let them make the NFTs into work. So mid of this year, around August, is when we started forming a team. We started getting the developers. Game developers are my ex-school friends, so they are indie game developers based on India. So I called them and told them there's this thing called NFTs and it has a huge potential as long as we can deliver a top quality game, and if we have the right skills and talents, it will be appreciated in this space. So I made them understand what's the potential of delivering a game in Solana. Then we formed the team. That's when we hired all these character modelers, animators, and smart contract developers. It took us close to 1.5 months to do all the planning and designing. We discussed like what kind of game environment we should choose, how many characters should be there, what kind of spells we should introduce. And after doing a run through with my team, we chose Indian mythology because Indian mythology is something that is untouched in traditional gaming space. Most of the culture that is we always used to see is it's either Chinese or Greek or Japanese. These are the kind of cultures that is commonly focused in traditional gaming space. So I told my friends, let's do something which we are very familiar with, something which we know the history, the culture. So we chose Indian mythology because we are more comfortable designing the characters based on it, and introducing all the spells because we know the history of all the gods and goddesses. So we took Indian mythology and Indian gods as an inspiration for this game. Uh, that's when, for regarding the game environments, we introduced. We are designing buildings that are British India kind of buildings, buildings, Mughal empires, and colonial empires. These are the kind of different kind of buildings we'll be seeing in game. It will be totally different visual experience from a gamer's point of view because this is not something that is common in a lot of games. I have not seen anybody introducing a different game environment like that. So as a gamer, you will be seeing this on ChainMyth. So the visual experience will be totally different, and the characters are all inspired from Indian gods and goddesses. We are not going to portray any of the gods, so we are just going to make use of the elements, their superpowers, and weapons. These are the these are three things which are inspiring from all these Indian gods and goddesses. So coming into the game, how the game will be is it is a 5 versus 5 multiplayer game. So there'll be two different teams, attackers and defenders. the objective of attacker is very similar to Counter-Strike, where you have to plant or defuse a bomb. And the mobile mechanics which we are introducing in this game is every characters will have 4 different abilities. Means they can cast magic spells, and it is being distinguished between 3 type of heroes: strength, agility, and intelligence. So this is how we are going to split all the characters, and each of them will have unique spells to cast. So when the game starts, for the first 10 minutes, you guys will be farming in lanes. You can farm the goals to buy in-game items to strategize yourself. And after the 10 minutes is over, there's this thing called spike, which will be unlocked. And the attacker's team's objective is to plant this spike or this bomb in either of the 3 sites in the map. So there'll be a total of 3 sites, bomb sites, to plant it. So that's when the battle happens. So whoever wins will win the round. So there'll be total of 3 rounds, and the game will go on for like at least 30 to 40 minutes. It depends on how aggressive the teams play. And also how we are bringing NFTs into this game is...
We'll slow down with the NFTs. Hold on. So you've unpacked so much information there. So the first 10 minutes you're talking about having a player-verse environment, or is it going to be like League of Legends where you've got 2 people in a lane? So you've got top lane, middle lane, bottom lane, and a jungler. Is it similar on that concept? So you're fighting against one immediate person, or is it purely PvE and you're building up for 10 minutes?
It won't be a PvE kind of environment. The map will be very similar to Valorant. There'll be a lot of different buildings, and across the maps you'll be seeing random creeps spawning. So whatever buildings or whatever empires you guys are staying at, you will see the random creeps spawning across the map. You can just farm those kind of creeps to farm goals. Once you for the first 10 minutes, this is what you guys will be doing, just farming to buy in-game items, something which you want to strategize yourself based on enemy picks. If enemy picks is going to have a strong magical heroes, then you have to buy items which will be magical resistance.
When you say buy, what are they buying those items with?
Okay, buying is, let's say opponents having like 3 magical heroes who can nuke you a lot of damages. Means they can deal a lot of damages in 1 or 2 by casting 1 or 2 spells. So in that, when they do that, you need to have some kind of resistance to last in the team fights. So you need to build items which can make your heroes stronger. So if you're going to buy a Hoon of Defense, it's a kind of a magical resistance item.
Yeah, so that's easy enough to understand with the resistances. You know, you might be fighting people which have melee items, so you need some kind of an armor item. But the question was more relevant towards how are you buying, or are you building that item from items you pick up from the first 10 minutes of creeps of monsters?
All right, there'll be a shop. There'll be a treasury shop in game. So you have to go to the shop and purchase those items. So once you go there, the game's in your screen, it's going to pop out which items you want to purchase, and how much ever gold you have, you can purchase accordingly.
Okay, so that is gold that's farmed from that first 10 minutes, not your in-game token.
No, not in-game token. In-game token is used for ranked modes. So how that works is I'll explain on the later
We'll get into that later. Yeah. No, I just wanted to make a classification because you're saying buy from shop, so I just want to understand whether we're going to be using all of our coins there. Okay, we'll just quickly touch on the team. It sounds awesome. You've got 9 to 10 people. I know you've got full-timers as well as part-timers. Is that right?
Everyone are full-timers. So it's a contract of 1 year. So we told them this development will be going on till end of next year.
Perfect. That's awesome. And some of the team's doxed, but you've got a couple of people that still aren't doxed. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
And is that likely to change, or you're happy with that? You're building, and people can take it at face value. Like I've had people at interviews on stage where people haven't always been doxed, but you know, it's good to find developers talking about it and whether they're happy or not happy.
Yep, some prefer to stay anonymous, so I left it to them. So okay,
that's awesome.
As long as there are few team members who are doxed, so that shouldn't be an issue.
So these are actually people you're saying from school that you've grew up with and you're still friends with, and you're building this game that's coming out.
Yes, correct.
That's amazing.
So the game designer and game developer, both of them are my school friends. So they are graduated from this university called ICAT. It's a game development university based on India. So before developing this game, those guys were just indie game developers. They were just creating multiplayer games based on Indian environment. So I told them there's this potential in blockchain space. Those guys have had no idea how blockchain or how NFTs works. So I just called them and told them there's this potential. As long as we have the right talent and right skills, we can deliver a top quality game and we'll get the necessary support. So that's how those guys showed interest on developing this game.
Yeah, it's I love the actual personal feeling to that. It means you guys are going to want to build strong. And you know, something together that you've grown up and talked about, probably been gamers your whole life. That's awesome. Now you're going into the Indian side of things. When you first launched, you did say you were going to possibly look at doing Japanese and maybe I think there was Chinese. There was a couple of extra nationalities, but now you've just gone strict Indian and Hindu. Is that what you're going to do to start off with? Maybe later on down the track, when you need to expand your gods, you may have to breach into other nationalities.
Yes, so it will not just be restricted to Indian gods and goddesses. When we first launch the game, there's going to be 14 characters. Only those 14 characters are inspired from all these Indian gods. And we are planning to expand the hero pool up to 50. So for the
By the end
remaining
of
50 characters,
2022, yeah?
yes, all of them are not going to be human anatomy because if you have seen our characters, everything is kind of human anatomy. We are planning to introduce some kind of monsters and dragons as well in the games to have
Yeah, I've
some
obviously everyone
diversity.
there are links up above. You can see from watching either of them that exactly what Zoe is saying now is that they're not all going to be based on human gods. They're going to have animals and special mythological creatures in there as well. I have linked the first one, Shiv, that you released. It's a bit of a dark picture because that's the start of the video, and I've screen grabbed that. But how long does it take you guys to design a character like Shiv?
Okay, for modeling, it will take you anywhere between 3 to 4 days to model a character. It will take you anywhere between 3 to 4 days. It's all about the detailing, what kind of details you are including in the models. But the most time-consuming part is there is a lot of process when it comes to modeling a character. It's not just like sculpting and then we can bring it to the game. In order to make a character game ready, first thing what you will be doing is you will be sculpting a character. Once the sculpting process is done, you will get a kind of unique shape. Once that process is done, you will be doing all the read topo and rigging works. That's when your character will be game ready because read topo is basically a number of, I don't want to explain in technical terms, but how it will be is, let's say if there are a lot of polygons inside when you sculpt a character, there's going to be millions of polygons. When you just bring that sculpted character into game, it's going to be very laggy. You cannot rig it, you cannot animate it. So in order to make it a game ready, there is two process which is called a retopologizing the sculpted character followed by rigging. Once these two are done, that's when we can bring that character into the game engine and do the animation works, like how his hands should move, how his legs, how he will cast a spell. All this kind of animation works will be done after the rigging process. So for one character, you will be spending anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks minimum.
So it takes a fair bit of time. Now you've got 6 of your first 14 ready. Is that right?
Yes, correct. 6 of them are
So
game ready.
you show in the video you have a lobby of 5, and they look really cool. So you've had those. What's the where do I go from there? We had so many topics. All you talk awesome. You manage to get through so much content and just keep flowing into it. Um, Now we're talking PC only. It's going to be 20 to 30-minute games, possibly longer, and built on Unity. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
So eventually down the track, I know I've listened to other AMAs with you, is you're absolutely not doing phone to start off with because you want to concentrate on getting the game out first on computer and playable, which is good. I like that. Concentrate on the one line first. Um, with that, when can we expect to see possible gameplay? Are we looking end of year? Are we looking beta testing
Okay,
in quarter 1?
gameplay, you can expect it on mid of December or third week of December. We will release a small gameplay clip with the existing characters. So far, we have 6 characters already. So
So
around mid
because
or third week of December, you can expect one gameplay video.
what I found interesting when I first saw your video release was you showed us a lobby of 5 characters, and you could see that it was myth to be able to enter into the game, and there was 5 fleshed out characters in there ready to go. So I didn't know the exact number of team that you had at that stage. So I had to imagine in my brain it was saying they're showing us 5 characters. They've got other people on the team away building the actual gameplay. So am I close to point there?
Yes, correct.
So you've got teams doing sections, which is perfect. That's awesome. So let's get into a little bit of discussion then on the NFTs, because it's a bit of a hot topic, the old NFTs. I'll just mention, Frank, sorry, we'll take questions at the end. We just want to get through the list of questions first, and then that way we'll take questions at the end. 5,000 NFTs. That's going to be the only 5,000 I understand initially at the start. You did 1,250 of those as a golden ticket, and you've based them at $180. So back then that was 1.2 Solana. Now Solana's boosted in the last 4 or 5 days, and it's at 250 thereabouts. How much pressure does that put you guys? You've got your launch on the 15th of November. I think it's 11 p.m. Singapore time. Is that right?
Yes.
So
So
how much pressure does that put on you guys to now try to balance the Solana requirements for the game? Are you still going to go in at that $180 price?
okay, when we first did the golden ticket sales, it was Solana was ranging around uh, 170 to 180. Based on that, we set the 1.2 Sol value.
Yep.
Right now, since golden ticket holders have already minted the tickets and they paid 1.2 Sol, if we are going to adjust for the public mint, if we are going to lower it, then I'm not sure if the golden ticket holders will be complaining, because they said they will raise things like they minted it at 1.2 Sol, but the public mint is for lesser than it. So this is something I need to discuss with the community how much they will agree. So
Yeah, it's
uh,
it,
I
it's
think
it's an interesting predicament, because I love the fact that you guys based it on a US dollar value. That's the second game only I know of outside of Star Atlas that has done that. And $180 to invest in a game early is cheap compared to a lot of other projects that we're seeing out there that are minting for. We've seen up to 8 Solana, and we will see this week 9 heroes come out, and they're doing fair launch protocol between 3 and 6. So you guys have absolutely chosen to come in at a price point that you can get community in early. That's not going to break their bank, and that's important to me. I love seeing that, and that's one of the things that got me interested early on. So it was interesting to ask you a question there, because the $180 is going to be a touchy point, and people complain and make it's a bit of a problem with PFPs and just JPEGs and people expecting to get rarities and all that kind of stuff. But let's go into the NFT a little bit more, because it's super detailed on what your NFT actually achieves and does. There's going to be no rarities, is that correct?
okay. So this is how it works. We are tokenizing all the custom game characters. Since we are launching the game with 14 characters, there will be 14 custom characters, means a mythical or legendary set. So what the Monkey King, what the NFT minters will be minting is the first character called Monkey King. So this Monkey King will be having total of 7 traits and 100 plus attributes. So every single Monkey King which is minted will be unique, but for the remaining 13 characters, it will be just single trait and just a single custom set. And those will not be minted. Those will be airdropped to all the NFT owners. So eventually, all the minters will be owning a total of 14 characters for a cost of 1.2 Sol. So
Yeah.
it's like a bundle of 14 characters.
So I want to pause on that, because it's super important people understand this. Is when you're buying this NFT, you're not buying an NFT that's got 4 or 5 different rarities and all these different attributes and stuff like that. You're buying an NFT, which we'll discuss the extra points after, but you're then going to get additional NFTs dropped to access all of those 14 individual gods. You're going to access all of those characters, and you're not going out to try to flip it because you've got a super epic legendary or anything like this, which is a really cool spin on it again. And then that's also not going to add any in-game bonuses because they might have a super rare car that's faster, or they might have a mace that's got +3 damage or anything like that. But let's touch on a little bit more of... we'll get through some basics of the NFT first and then get into the more use case side of it, because there's a lot of DeFi, lending and borrowing and stuff we need to talk about too. Very basics. How have you gone with launching on Radium? I know that was your immediate goal. Have you had any luck in the last 24, 48 hours to get any news from them?
Okay, so far, me and my another team member Jiraya, both of us had a call with the Radium team. We had 2 calls, and what they mentioned is they like our project and what we are building, and they also mentioned that all these gaming projects launching on Solana has a huge potential, so they are interested, but they mentioned that they need some time before they can confirm. So we are still waiting for it. Right now, they are busy with all this Lisbon meeting, so
Yeah,
we can
it's
only
a
expect after that.
super hard time, and then they've got launches. What have they got? DeFi Land and Genopets. So you're launching around some big games as well. And marketplaces, what are you aiming for your marketplaces? Have the golden tickets been, are they listed yet? I wouldn't know. I've not gone looking for them.
Okay, golden tickets is not yet listed. It will be listed together with character NFTs. So once the character NFTs are being minted, both this will be listed on marketplace. There'll be a total of 3 marketplace. One is Solana, second is Magic Eden, and third is FTX.
Oh,
So these
wow.
3, we already spoke to all 3 of them, and all 3 of them are happy to onboard us.
Was FTX hard to get onto?
It depends because it was FTX who engaged us, so it was easy for us to communicate with them.
Awesome. I
It
love
was
it.
them who
That's a
think,
really interesting piece of information. So that's all the big ticket marketplaces. Let's talk a little bit about the juicy topics of what the NFT actually allows you to do in game, because there's so much more than just giving 14 characters, which in itself is an amazing ability. But you've got to stake the NFT, and that then allows you to use your character in game. That's fairly easy to understand. But do you want to talk about a little bit of the DeFi side of things?
okay, I'll just explain what are all the purpose of NFTs and what are the values all these minters are going to get. It's not just like you have, even if you're not a gamer, if you're going to mint it, I'll explain how you guys can accrue value from holding these NFTs. It's not just speculating and holding in the wallet. So first thing is the basic utility of this NFT is summoning a character. So how it works is once you guys have minted, it will appear on your wallet, and when you guys log into our game and connect your wallet, it's going to display whatever ChainMyth NFTs you're holding in your wallet in the game dashboard. Once you select it, the game client will do a metadata call to the JSON file hosted in Aviv to pull all the data. So it is going to gather informations like this piece of image, what kind of data is it being backed by? I mean, what kind of armor is it having? What kind of clothing it has? The hairstyle and the skin, all the weapons, all these kind of informations are stored in the JSON file. It is going to make a metadata call to this JSON file, pull all these informations, and the backend is going to build a hero for you based on that and summon it. And then you can use this character to play the game. Or if you got this is one thing, and there are 2 challenging features which we are including in the game. One is the lending borrowing feature. So far, I have not seen any projects discussing about it or have an idea about implementing this feature. So how this lending borrowing works is it is very similar to DeFi like Aave or Compound. You guys are going to deposit. Let's say as a user I've minted 10 character NFTs, but I'm using only one of them to play. So the rest 9 of them, what I can do is I can deposit these 9 character NFTs into the lending contract. So when I deposit into the lending contract, I need to specify for how many number of days I want to lend it out and what is the collateral amount the borrower needs to place. So for example, I'm going to set it like I just want to lend one of my character NFT for a duration of 10 days and the collateral amount needs to be placed is 1000 USD. The borrower can only get the NFT from you if he meets this condition. So when he deposits 1000 USD collateral and he gets an NFT, within 10 days, if he's not going to return, he or she if is not going to return back your NFT, you have the option to liquidate the collateral amount.
Okay,
If
so
they redeem
this doesn't mean that the NFT stays in your wallet. This means that the NFT actually goes to the other player, and then
yeah,
what they're lending against it, the 1000 USDC, sits in escrow in contract.
yes, correct. Then if they return back on time before 10 days, if they return back, you will be getting the 1% fixed interest rate. And there's also a little risk involved over here. I want to highlight. This is your digital asset. It's your own asset, and it's your responsibility to set what's the collateral amount you want the borrower needs to place. It's not a
Yeah.
guarantee that the person who borrowed the asset will return back. He or she might not return back, and when that's the case, your only uh, the only thing you can do is just liquidate the collateral amount which he placed. So if you're going to place like 1000 USD, but the NFT value is going to increase, then it's not a guarantee that he or she will return it. So this is one small risk involved. So this is something we need to explore and see how we can make it more safer.
Yeah,
And
so obviously early on, education is going to be the most important thing, having videos that are smart and on point, and obviously multilingual videos to be able to make sure people are watching and learning and knowing these risks.
yes, so when setting the collateral amount, you just need to make sure you are buffering it little bit above the floor price, just in case if the borrower is not going to return you back, at least you have the option to liquidate that amount of dollar value, so you
So,
can at least buy it on the secondary.
do you talk to other protocols and games then that have got lendings, not lendings, yeah, your sponsorships coming out? So Soul Chicks have one, Star Atlas have one, Step N, they're going to have a lending borrowing. Have you touched base or followed any of the other protocols that are doing that?
So far I've not checked them out, but yeah, I will see what they're doing for this lending borrowing stuff.
Yeah, it's something that I'm super interested in because I'd love to set up a sponsorship of a team that that less than worrying about 50-50. But yes, it's super interesting. I haven't managed to touch base with any of the Ignition winners yet, but fractionalized NFTs and lending and borrowing. One thing I had a question was when they then borrow your NFT, and let's use that 1000 USDC as an example. When they play your character, your NFT, is that then leveling up the metadata that's within your NFT and saving it?
Yes, it will.
Because
So
you don't want your NFT sitting there and not growing in experience, because then you're going to get further behind other players.
yep, it will. So whoever borrows your NFTs and if he's going to play the game, those stats will be recorded into the NFT over time.
Perfect. So that's one of the use cases. Now, lending and borrowing, we've talked about, that's that. And there's also going to be earnings from the NFTs for some of your matchmaking games. Do we want to go into that a little bit?
Okay, before I get into that part, I also want to explain the two other features of what you can do with NFT. So lending, borrowing is one of them. And second thing is you can also stake your NFTs to earn the in-game's native token called Myth. So how this staking works is we are just going to create a pool, and that staking pool will be seeded with Myth token. 20% of the supply will be reserved for the NFT owners to farm it. So it will be for a duration of 6 months. In case if you guys are not going to use your NFTs to play the game, or if you don't want to take the risk to lend it out to a borrower, you guys can stake it as well. And when you stake it, it depends on your pool weight, how many NFTs are being staked in that pool, and what is the NFTs you have staked. And based on that, you will have a pool weight, and based on the pool weight, you will be farming the in-game native token called Myth, which can be traded for to buy in-game items, or you can just trade it back for Soul if you want to.
So I've just linked the white papers tokenomics, and just as a little bit of a warning there, that's not fully locked in yet. So just have a look at that as a guide only. and that's because you're still talking with VC investors. Is that right?
Yes. So we will be having seed investment. So based on the seed investment and how many percentage of supply we will be reserving for the seed investors, we will be adjusting the numbers if
So
required.
100 million myth tokens, and I noticed that the seed and the private sales were not super low compared to the pre-sale. So you're not making them super cheap for the VCs.
The difference will be I
Yeah.
recently updated the white paper, so the
I
seed
thought
will
that
be
was up.
starting
So
with
it's about a 15% difference. It's not huge.
yes,
Yeah,
and they will be
that's super
having
interesting to see because you see a lot of games. The VC investors get in there for 20% of what other people are buying. So that's awesome. And the team has taken 8% vested over 5 years. You guys are here to build for a long term. Um, what were you going to say? Sorry, before I cut you off.
yeah, I just wanted to mention that all these seed investment for the VCs will be vesting it for 2 years. So the unlocking will be starting after 3 months.
Oh, so that's scaled out. Is it linear scale coming out from the 3 month marker? So that means there won't be a high amount of tokens available early in the game. Is that right?
Yes, only 35% of the total supply will be circulating, and the starting market cap will be around 1.8 million.
So is there a plan on the pre-sale? You've got 15% listed for pre-sale.
Yes, there will be pre-sale as well. So for pre-sale, we will be doing with the community themselves. So see how many people are willing to participate in the pre-sale. It will be very similar to the IDOs like what Aurora did, but there will be individual caps being set. Like maximum 500 USD is the maximum allocation for one individual. If required, we will do the whitelisting as well.
That's a super interesting piece of news there. I'm happy to hear that. That's the first time I've had the $500 cap. So one of the big problems with Mango and the Aurora is I watched and participated in the Aurora. In the last 15 minutes, there was 20 million, 20 million, 30 million taken out, and then 8 million, no, sorry, $3 million was taken out in the last 8 seconds. So it's a way that whales get in there and scare people off. So a $500 cap, obviously that could be gamed as well with multiple wallets and stuff, but that's super cool. I like how you're pricing in nice and low, and then you're also looking at those kinds of things. So there was one other thing you wanted to discuss about the NFT utility.
Yep, one is lending borrowing. Second thing is staking. So you guys can stake it and earn the 20% of the supply will be distributed to the NFT owners. And that distribution is based on the pool weight. So it depends on how many NFTs you're staking and what is the total amount of NFTs are in the pool. Based on that, the pool weight will be calculated and 20% of the supply will be distributed to you guys over a duration of 6 months. So this staking phase will happen for 6 months, but you guys can unstake your NFT whenever you want and redeem whatever myth token you have found. So it depends on individual.
So
And third,
let's with the staking. So when you stake that NFT for the staking pool, you still have access to play that yourself within the game, yes?
yes,
And you can't lend it or borrow it. So you've got to pick one or the other. You either stake it or lend and borrow it.
yep. So if you guys are having only one NFT, then you have to choose whether you want to use that NFT to play the game or lend it, or if you want to stake it.
That's
You
another
cannot do
unique
three at the
experience
same time.
there. Sorry, I'll cut you off, but that's very unique as well because normally when you stake a coin, you don't have access to it. So to actually keep your access to that NFT, to be able to utilize that in game and grow the NFT's power is very awesome. And sorry, I cut you off yet again.
Yeah, no worries. So another third thing, the third part of the NFT is the dynamic reality. So if you guys have seen in a lot of PFP projects, rare trades is a thing. I mean, people are releasing like 5,000 to 10,000 collection, but only the few hundred of them are getting lucky. Only the few hundred of them are able to get a very rare trade kind of NFTs. And then what the rest of the people are doing is they're either trying to get rid of the NFTs because they find it they don't find a value in it, and then some of them even try to sell it below the mint price to get on to the next drop. So in our case, it doesn't matter if you are going to mint a rare Monkey King or a common Monkey King. How this dynamic rarity works is all the in-game stats like the number of games you have played, the number of kills, assists, the damages you have dealt over time, all this kind of data will be recorded into your NFT. So in the game leaderboard, it is going to display the top 10 NFT owners with the highest stats. So rarity is based on your in-game performance. It
So I can
depends.
see a lot of issues with that. Immediately, it makes me think. So obviously, it's like having a Dungeons and Dragons character that you level up. It gets to level 12. It adds stats and gets stronger and better. What if? So if people are playing their NFT and then they log out, they want the stats to be increased, and they get someone else to play it, and then someone tanks the stats within that NFT. That would be perfectly feasible, wouldn't it?
Okay, that's not how it works. How this stuff works is you as an NFT owner, I mean, let's say in traditional gaming, let's say you're playing games like Dota or Valorant, your in-game stats will be recorded on the server end itself. So you have your own account. When you log into your account, you will be seeing how many games you have played, what's your winning percentage, what's your rank, how many kills you have took. All this kind of data will be stored on the server end itself. But in our game, we are not going to store anything on our end. Everything will be pushed into NFT. So let's say
I
I'm
know, but
using.
so what's gonna and thank you, Sergeant Savage. How are you going to stop other people using each other's NFTs to maybe grow one and increase the stats on just one particular? Playing in shifts.
You mean people who are borrowing it?
Well, just imagine two friends, different time zones, and they share an NFT to increase that NFT and make it more powerful than individuals.
Yeah, this is one thing which we really can't control because it depends. It depends on the individual. They can also share it with their friends and let their friends to buff the NFTs. So it really depends how people want to use it. So
Yeah,
this is one
people game
thing.
the system. I mean, I played World of Warcraft and I had 9 accounts open. They obviously weren't all of
Yeah.
my accounts. So account sharing is still going to be feasible with NFTs, providing you trust each other and with $1,000 worth of each other's stuff. But yeah, that's super important. Now we haven't discussed MMR or how it's going to be affected with the tournaments and the lobby games as well.
Yep. So I'll just go on with that part. So this in-game token called Myth, it has three purpose. One is it is used as an in-game currency. If you want to buy all those custom skins or weapons or taunts, you can use this Myth token to purchase it. Second is the governance. Means let's say if you're going to roll out a different patch, if you're going to update the game, or if you're going to nerf a character or buff a character, all these kind of decisions will be made by the myth holders.
Yep,
So
yep,
there'll be
yep,
a
yep.
voting done whether they want to nerf this character or buff this character, or if you want to update the map. All these kind of game changes will be voted by the myth holders. And the third important part of myth's utility is it is used as a it is used to participate in the ranked mode. So let's say if you're going to find a match, if you're going to find a ranked match, you need to deposit X amount of myth into a vault. Once this deposition is done, you will be able to find the match, and whoever wins end of the game will be able to claim that myth from the vault. So if you lose the game, you're going to lose your myth. If you win the game, you're going to earn extra myth. That's how it works.
And there's a
And
2.5% fee for the dev team, yeah?
yes, also uh, that's how we get the revenue.
Yep,
So let's say there's going to be $100 worth of myth being deposited into the vault. 2.5% of
yeah, yeah,
them
yeah,
will be
yeah.
going into two separate vault. One is to the developers vault, another one is to the community vault. So this will be splitted into 50-50, and for the community vault, NFT holders will be able to redeem. It's for the NFT holders.
Yeah, yeah, and then you talk about there's other options where there's going to be lobby games and tournaments as well, and they're
Yes,
going to be shared out towards the NFT holders.
yes, correct. So if someone is going to host a lobby, let's say if I want to play a 5 versus 5 game with my friends, and if I want to host a lobby in game, then I need to pay a registration fees in Myth, and this will follow the same model as how the ranked flow works. So people need to pay registration fees in Myth, and once they pay, this will be splitted into the developers vault and community vault in a ratio of 1:1.
That's cool, and yeah, you split the fees with the developers and the NFT holders. But going back to the DAO then, so it's going to be DAO voted for obviously keeping the game on point, nerfs, buffs, making sure we balance the game out. Are the team getting a set number of these assets to try and keep a semi control over the DAO initially to start off with, like Star Atlas is doing? They're keeping a higher portion of the Polis, of course. But are ChainMyth going to hold on to a certain number to be able to make sure they send the game on the right path for the first 6 to 12 months, or have much time?
Yes, correct. So this DAO will not go live till mid of next year. So initially we will be launching the game with our own patch and a preset kind of spells, abilities. It's not going to be updated until mid of next year. Once we roll out the DAO, that's when the community can participate. And this voting is dependent based on.
You just cut out there, Zoe. Right in the money shot. So while we've got Zoe coming back, if you like, it's pinned. The channel has pins. You can always go up to the top and just have a quick look at the trailers and stuff like that. We did talk a little bit about the gameplay. We're talking obviously now about the DAO and the governance. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been listed tonight that I've learned by doing this. And I've listened to a couple of AMAs and obviously been in the channel for a while. It wasn't mentioned that you need to win 25 games to start off with to be able to actually get into ranked matches, and this is what we're talking about. It's myth, it's 2 myth. If you win or lose a game, it's a 2 myth variation. So if you lose a game, you lose 2 myth, and the opponent wins the myth. So it'll be interesting to see just theory crafting now. If myth goes up in value, that could be a big win, and teams will be playing this.
Okay, there's a small update regarding it. So we will be having 3 different tiering for the ranked modes, because when we spoke to a few days back, when we spoke to Solana, their team members highlighted one thing. Let's say if you're going to set like +2 myth, and if I'm good at the game, I'm not going to grind for playing 100 games to earn only few dollars or few cents. So they were suggesting to go with a higher value so people can benefit a lot. So what we are going to do is we are going to split into 3 tiers. There'll be tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And on tier 1, you will be pulling anywhere between 25 cents to $1 worth of myth. Tier 2 will be $1 to $10 worth of myth, and tier 3 will be $10 and above.
That's intelligent.
So the 3 different kind of poolings in order to find the rank match. So if someone who does not want to risk a lot, and if they do not want to lose money, then they can just go ahead with tier 1, which will cost them around 25 cents to $1.
So that's really cool. So you're giving people of different means an ability to continue to play the game, but at a lower cost if they lose or win.
Yeah, so it depends on every individual's risk threshold. Some would like to go with a higher stake, so they can choose tier 3. If some do not want to risk a lot, then they can just go ahead with tier 1, because that's the lowest, and that will cost them around cents to $1 value.
And will there be any kind of ranking where you get your bronze, silver, gold, platinum, anything like that, or it's just a flat MMR system?
It will be a MMR system for now, but we will be giving titles as well based on the MMR, so we can categorize. Let's say if you're a 2K to 3K MMR kind of player, for that kind of range we can set a title. Then for 4 to 5K MMR we can set a different title. The title is not yet decided, but for now it's just a flat MMR.
Something Hindu. Start theory crafting now, people. That's something you can actually go and suggest, I would imagine, and possibly come out with a fat prize. Developers love these kinds of things, to be able to theory craft for them and help them out along the ways. That's awesome. There's so many bits of information within that. We've got another 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll start going into questions. But we've talked about the game updates a little bit. You talked about having up to 50 characters by the end of 2022. Do you not think from 14 to 50 is that going to be too much? One of the problems of League of Legends now is there's something like 195 characters and they're releasing it every month to 2 months. It makes such a large player base. Do you think that's too busy a schedule to start off with?
Okay, our game is falls under FPS genre, so it will be very similar to Valorant. If you guys just go and YouTube Valorant's gameplay and take a look at it, that's how exactly Chainmate is going to be. The only difference will be the game environment and game characters. Other than that, everything will be similar. So since ours is not a MOBA kind of game, we do not have to focus on releasing with a large hero pool. So 14 characters is good to start with, and expanding the hero pool up to 50 will be very good, because I have not seen any FPS game with more than 14 or 20 characters.
Oh, 14 is
So
amazing to start off with, and that's what I'm saying. You know, even if you go 2 per month, and you're releasing in quarter 1, that's 18, that's 32 characters. But you're talking of taking it right up to that 50 marker, which seems a little bit busy for 3 per month. Is that not going to create too much trouble for you, the team creating it, and also people
yes,
trying to learn?
yes, correct. That is our target. 50 is our target. So if let's say if we are going to launch our game on next year March, the public launch will be on next year March, and we are starting off with 14 characters. So we will be having another 36 more to develop in a duration of 9 months, and rushing instead of rushing 36 characters and pushing it into the game. It depends how stable the game is, how fast our
Yeah,
modelers
concentrate on
can
those things.
deliver with top quality. Because for us, main thing is we want to deliver a quality character with good spells, rather than with a lot of characters with
That's kind
no.
of that's kind of what I'm getting at, and a couple of people in the crowd are actually saying this as we're talking now. Is that even in the crowd listening, they're saying that might be a little bit too much, and you might
Yes,
want to have your players actually mastering the core 14 first, maybe releasing them out a little bit slower. But it's awesome that you've got a plan, and even talking to us, you're saying no, we want to design 50. So I like the drive, and you sound passionate about it, which is super important. When you're releasing the game to start off with, a lot of games are releasing, MVP, minimal viable product. But for you guys, you're going straight for the throat. It's a 5v5 computer game. Are you going to release at a lower quality to start off with to get the game out and being play tested, and then try to increase the graphics as you go? How are you thinking about that?
okay. Regarding all this graphics, how it works is on end of this year, around December end, what we will be doing is we will be selecting like 20 to 30 community members. We'll just get like 20 to 30 community members to do the stress testing of the characters, to make sure all the abilities, movements, casting spells, all this works perfectly. This testing will go on for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Once this is done, before our game launch, what we are planning to do is we want to outsource certain things like graphics, VFX, SFX, anything related to sound works. All this will be outsourced to a studio, because for that kind of uh, for those things we do not have experts in our team. So this kind of things will be outsourced to a team, to a reputed studio who can help us with all the graphics, all the visual experience. From our end, we will be just doing
Is
only the
there,
front end.
sorry Zoe, is there a name you can give us for the team that's helping you with that part of the production?
You mean currently?
So you said you've got a developer team for that part of it. Can you release the name for that, just for us to go and have a look at?
No, we will be outsourcing it. We will be outsourcing it to a studio.
Oh, that's what I'm asking specifically on that. Have you picked the studio? Have you got one lined
Okay,
up?
one of them we have considered is this thing called Zale City Studios. It's based on India, so they focus on game developments, and they have released a lot of mobile games and PC games. So you guys can just take a look at Zale Studios. That is one thing we have considered, but we want to engage some studios who's well specialized in FPS games. Those guys will be good. Those guys will be a good fit for us when it comes to designing graphics, enhancing all the graphics.
And so you're going to stress test that towards the end of the year, which is important. Obviously, you're going to be trying to make sure all the contracts. Well, contracts wouldn't be because you're actually using in-game gold farmed, so that's not a token. So you don't need to worry about having running contracts while you're within the game, do you? That's all done outside in the game lobby.
Yes, correct. So in game it will be just the in-game goals, so that will not be interacted with any smart contracts. The smart contract interactions between our game is for only for three things. One is for summoning the character. That's where the smart contract part will come. Second is lending borrowing, and third thing is, let's say if you win a game and you earn during the play to earn, if you win a game and if you earn X amount of myth token, when you claim it, that's when the smart contract interactions happen. So inside, when you're playing the game, there will be no smart contract interactions.
And there's no lag or no problems with having to sign them up and Solana being slowed down. So how does that work then? Where are you playing? You're playing on the blockchain, but how does that work if Solana slows down and has a problem?
You are not playing on this will not be played on the blockchain. Only this game will be a separate client. So as a user, you will be downloading the client and playing it.
Yeah. So that's why you need a computer.
Three parts will be involved with smart contracts, like I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
So let's say for summoning the character, that's where your NFTs will come into play. If you want to claim your myth token after winning X amount of myth, that's when it will come as well. Third is if you want to participate in ranked mode, and if you want to deposit the myth token into the vault, all this will be happen before you find match. So this kind of interactions will happen before finding match. So if there's an issue with Solana chain or something, then those kind of services will be temporarily unavailable. It will not happen in between of the game.
I love it. That's sounding very much like you can pump out a game in. It's very interesting in the gaming space, and everyone's saying we're going to be the first AAA game, we're going to be the first game available. But everything building on the blockchain, there's restrictions, and you're building with Rust, and all of these problems, and we're new to this space. Solana gaming is very early, but that's an interesting spin. So, I mean, you've obviously played a fair bit of League of Legends, so we know what it's like as a Garen trying to chase after a Vayne. It makes me think in the game when you've got melee characters and then you've got characters that cast spells or can kite you with ranged weapons. Can we get any bit of an idea on how that's going to play?
You mean all the spells?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's going to be melee based characters, so a lot of your NFTs, especially at the Monkey King show, he's concentrated on some of them are melee weapons, but then some of them are ranged machine guns and stuff like that.
Okay, how this works is we will be having different size of heroes and different category like strength or agility or intelligence based heroes. So since this is a FPS game, by default every single characters will own a gun, so you can select what kind of gun you want to use before entering the game. Before entering the fight, you can select what kind of guns you want to use. So this how the spells work is there will be three different elements you are focusing. One is water, fire, and wind. These are the three different elements which we are focusing on regarding the spells. So let's say if I'm going to manipulate a fire, it can cast spells like a sunstrike or a chaos meter. This kind of spells will be casted. If I'm going to manipulate wind, then you can expect spells like tornado. This kind of spells comes from manipulation. So it doesn't matter if I'm a melee hero or ranged hero, as long as I have this ability. Before you select your weapons, you need to select your spells as well, like what kind of spells you want to use. It's not like every single heroes will be having a fixed kind of spell. During games, you can select which spells you want to use to play. So let's say you have selected 4 spells, and that 4 spells will be unique compared to the remaining 9 players, and you can cast based on it. So the casting from a first person shooter view, it will be like you throw a kind of spell on the opponent, and it will go and cast it over there, like a sunstrike or a tornado, this kind of spells. So if you want to have a rough idea how it will look, then the best
Go and watch that
reference,
Valorant.
yeah, the best reference is Valorant, because it will be 99.99% very similar to Valorant.
Except they'll be talking with a thick Indian accent.
Yep.
Two little things come to mind before we take it to the floor. I'm just waiting to see whether there was a giggle or a laugh there. There was a big announcement today with FTX and Solana Studios. Was it about $100 million being put aside for Solana gaming? And you've had FTX reach out to you guys and touch base. Can you have you guys put your hand up for some of that funding? Has that been portrayed, or you can't talk about that?
That one, I have pinged one of the person who's doing that, so it depends whether I get a response or not.
Cool. And the last one I wanted to touch on was, it was a bit of an Indian joke there as well. Just as a reminder, we've got that meme down below, people. Get it in there, get some memes, something funny. But have you guys aimed at the Indian public? So I think I have seen you've got a couple of big Indian streamers. So is the push to try to culturally get that taken up back home for the game as well? Like Axie's very big in the Philippines. So is it the aim to try to make this something that the people are proud of in India?
Okay, right now we have two big YouTubers who we are in touch with. One is this guy called Kuko. He's a Filipino guy. He's a very popular streamer for this game called Axie. So he is in the ChainMyth group as well. I already spoke to him. He said he's very interested to test out the beta, and once this game goes live, he said he will be streaming this as well. And then there's one more popular guy from Dota Cinema. He have 1.3 million subscribers. If you guys have time, just go check out the YouTube and search for this thing called Dota Cinema. They are very popular YouTubers who focus only on Dota contents. So he spoke to me yesterday, and he said that he's getting into the NFT space, and he wants to work on this project and collaborate with us and help us with the streaming and posting contents on his channel. So we have two big YouTubers already. So these guys will be helping us out to reach all the traditional gamers.
I love it, man. That is so much information we've had tonight. I'll invite Frank up the stage. He's had his hand up for a while now, and we'll see if he's got a question. Start writing out questions now, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone a long interview so far, but Zoe is so amazing. I'm sure he's keen to see more questions. Frank, welcome to stage. What question have you got for Zoe?
Hello. I just want to ask about the ChainMyth economy, yeah? So will you guys be implementing like a 2-token economy, like what Axie Infinity does with AXS and SLP?
No, just a single, yeah.
Okay, the in-game economy is the myth token.
Yeah.
So if you're going to play the game for play to earn, all you need to do is you can just play the unranked, and every time you win a game, you will be earning X amount of myth.
Yeah. I'll also have another question. What are you guys going to be implementing to prevent smurfing and cheating? Because I know you guys are doing mobile verification, but I don't think that's enough.
Yes. Okay, regarding smurfing and all these boosters, I think this is a very common problem in a lot of traditional gaming space. Even Valve cannot even control smurf accounts. So for that, we will be implementing this stuff. So there will be like minimum of 100 hours. 100 hours need to be spent in order to be eligible for playing ranked games or earning through unranked.
So you were saying initially you had 25 wins, so potentially 50 games. So is that where you're getting your 100 hours from?
Yes, correct.
Because you're kind of saying 30 to 40 minutes for a game, so that might be more on 25 hours, though?
Yes, so it depends. We can set it based on levels. Every time you win a game, you will be gaining experience, and based on the experience, you will be leveling up. Like level 1, level 2, your account will be leveling up. So we can set based on levels, like minimum after level 25, you can participate in ranked games, or you will be eligible for the play to earn, or else we can set based on number of hours played. And third thing is the mobile registration. But these are three things which can be done for now. But smurfing,
It's a
concurrent
common
smurf,
problem. I mean, in
Yeah.
every
yeah.
major game. All right, cheers, Frank. Thank you very
I
much.
got one more.
All right, I make it a quick one.
So you know how India banned PUBG, right? And you guys are your main target markets for like Indians and Singaporeans, whatever, right?
Yes.
Yeah, PUBG Mobile got banned because like concerns for addiction for children and monetary loss, self-harm, suicides, and murders. What are you gonna do to like
Okay.
overcome that?
If you look at India, they ban games like PUBG, even Smite. They also banned because there was this Indian god was portrayed called Kali. So
Oh,
even
yeah.
Smite was banned.
Yeah.
So to avoid this issue, we already mentioned that we are not going to portray any of the gods in game. So we are just going to inspire the elements. So in order to avoid all this kind of controversy or this kind of banning issues, we just need to remove this term called Indian mythology. We just need to keep it common.
So does that go to something like no cows? And I'm not trying to make that a joke, but that's meant to be a mythical creature for India, yeah.
Yes.
So definitely no magical cow level.
Yeah. If you look at India, for them, these are kind of sensitive topic.
Yeah,
Some might
no,
find it offensive.
it's interesting to know that. Thank you, Frank. Thank you for coming along. Six and you are up next.
Hey guys, how you going, Zoe? Can you hear me okay?
Hey man, yes, doing great. How are
I've got
you?
a couple. Yeah, very well, thank you. I've got a couple of questions for you, mate. When do you foresee the game actually being a mainstream full launch? And the second question is, how do you stop the aimbotters and the hackers? Because what sort of anti-cheat system are you going to be using?
Oh, you mean how to avoid anti-cheats? All these hackers?
Like aimbotting and stuff like that. Like it's prolific in Warzone stuff and cheating. So I was just wondering what kind of anti-cheat system you'd be running.
Or this is something I need to check with my game developer. He will be the one be able to answer. Yeah, this one I can update you. But
Sounds good. And also, when do you see the game actually being a full launch?
okay, beta is okay. Alpha testing is planned for end of this year. You can expect it around like late December or first week of Jan, and public launch will be on end March next year.
Oh, no worries. Thank you very much, Martin. Good luck with your game, and hopefully
Thanks,
it's out
man.
sooner than you hope. Please, thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Sixon.
Take care.
Sergeant Savage, welcome to stage. I can move
G'day,
you
guys.
off.
How are you? I've got two questions for you, Zoe. So one's with your matches. How are people going to be matched up? Are they going to be off of their NFT level, or is it just going to be randomized?
Okay, there is two. There are two formats in the game. One is unranked and ranked. Unranked is basically normal matchmaking. As long as there are online players, you can just find match. For ranked, it is based on your MMR. So let's say if you're a 3K MMR player, you will be matchmaking between 3 to 4K MMR players. So only if there is 3 to 4K MMR players being lining up or queuing up, and then once you get enough players for the matchmaking, then you can go ahead with the rank mode. So rank is depend based on your MMR.
Okay, yep. And my last question, just quickly, with your ranked matches, other than what your prize pool is that you've put in, is there any other benefits for doing ranked?
Oh,
Can you repeat?
So with your rank, you put in your myth tokens for your match. If you win, you get the myth. Do you get any additional bonuses to your NFT or character?
yeah.
Okay,
Your metadata will
for
go
rank
up.
mode, you will be only earning myth, but we also have this thing called battle pass. So for battle pass,
Ooh.
let's say if you're going to purchase the battle pass using your in-game currency myth, so what this battle pass does is it will give you random drops, either custom skins or weapons or taunts or a custom map kind of things will be randomly dropped for the battle pass holders. So for rank game, it's just earning myth. If you want to have the random drops, then you can get this battle pass.
Okay, so similar to like a Warzone setup where you get a battle pass, you get different skins, etc.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Thanks.
I
Thanks for
guess
answering my
also
question.
on that while you're there, Sergeant, so also
Yeah.
your metadata is going to be increasing, so it's going to increase your statistics and stuff for your stored NFT as well.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering whether or not if you did rank, you got a bonus sort of increase in that. So
Yeah, he did mention earlier on that obviously your statistics go up, but
yeah.
what then stops with someone using someone else's higher ranked NFTs though? How is that going to give them an advantage over in a standard battle?
You mean NFTs with higher stats?
Yeah, so if you've got two people that are equally skilled, they're both beginners, but one's gone and hired someone's NFT or borrowed one from a mate that's got increased statistics, is that not going to create some kind of disparity there, which then takes it away from being a skill-based game?
Okay, how this works is, let's say if I'm owning an NFT, and if I have played like 100 games and my stats are all recorded, and like I have a rank of 4K to 5K MMR, the number of kills, I have very high stats, and when I do the transfer ownership to a new guy who's buying it, it will be totally reset.
Ooh. So there'll be two types of statistics on that NFT then?
Yes, the NFTs will be I mean, let's say if I'm a non-NFT guy, but I want to own an NFT and to buff it. Let's say I'm buying it from the marketplace. Once I does that, and if I enter the game, and when my game client sees that my stats is starting from 0, it is going to update that. It is going to overwrite the existing stats on that piece of NFT.
Hmm.
So
Appreciate the answer.
how this stats update works is basically it's between the game client database and also the JSON file hosted in Arweave. So when these guys interact with each other, what the game client will be pushing to this Arweave is, it will be saying, hey, this guy is owning this NFT, he's the owner of this NFT, he have won this many of games, he have got this number of kills, all these kind of stats will be pushed into this NFT. So let's say someone is creating a new account and he have purchased someone else NFT. Once he enters into his new account, it is going to start with 0. So the game client is going to say this guy is starting with 0, and those numbers will be overwritten on that NFT metadata.
Did you have any more, Sergeant?
No, I think the other one that I had's already been asked. So that's all. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on
Thanks,
stage.
Thank you, guys.
Heaps of information, though. Absolutely amazing. We've gone well over our hour. Is there? I've pretty much asked everything. You've given us some great answers. I'll upload this video tomorrow for everyone watching if you want to go backwards and have a listen, because there's obviously names of YouTubers dropped. There was names of Zales City Studios, the developer. So there's a lot of very good information to actually be able to go out. I've seen that's so promising to listen to so much of that, because you've taken out a lot of issues of needing contracts written and signed during games, which a lot of the card games that are coming out earlier are playable, but you've got to constantly sign, or you've got to click your wallet on auto sign. I absolutely think you should be putting a lot more of this information out there for the public, because there's things I've learnt tonight which is awesome. Have you got any closing thoughts, Zoe? Is there anything that we've missed that you would like to cover?
That's it for now. I just want to say that if you guys, all the listeners out here, if you guys have time, just go check out our YouTube. We have uploaded a demo for how this character NFT works, how it summons a hero. You will have a better understanding that you guys are minting an actual game character. So when you guys check out that character NFT demo, it will be much clearer. Another thing is the game teaser. So in the game teaser, you will have a rough idea how the game environment will look like. So you guys can check that out.
All the links for those are just click on the pin for the live channels, and that'll take you up to the top picture and give you the links for that. The game will be minting on the 15th. I got a golden ticket, so, you know, like, not financial advice. I always don't say that enough, but generally speaking, if I've had a game that's won me over, I'll mint. I'm not a squillionaire. I started crypto this year, but I'm here to play games. I haven't played a first-person shooter since Soldier of Fortune 2. Do you remember that game, Zoe?
Yep.
You might be a bit young for it. I'm an old boy. But it's been a very long time since I've played a first-person shooter. But I'm excited. It sounds cool that you're building on a client. Obviously, you've got to download that game, and that's why you're sticking with PC first. Minting on the 15th, 11 p.m. That'll be GMT plus 8. And what's that? That's 1 a.m. for old Barndog. But yeah, really excited. Very happy you came on. If there's no more questions, we will close out the AMA.
Yeah, sure, man. That's it from my end.
Yeah, and what we'll do is, because obviously with the Grape tools, we don't need to write down people's wallet addresses or anything like that. I've got all the all I need is a user number. So we will be doing prizes there. I love getting people on stage. We had near on 50 people tonight. That was a really cool turnout. This is kind of the time zone you'll be going for, is it not, Zoe?
Yes.
Because it's funny seeing it. You know, it's rough for Americans, and it's not as bad for Europe. Of course, they're only 5 hours behind us. But is there any plans for like worlds tournaments and that kind of thing? You know, like an Australian team, a New Zealand team, Indian team, Philippines team. Have you gone that far?
Some kind of tournaments, hosting a tournament?
Yeah, so like a worlds tournament where it's, you know, regional teams.
Yes, we can do that, but the problem is, let's say if I'm from, since I'm from Singapore, I'll be playing on Asia server, and since you're, let's say people from Europe or US, they will be playing on Europe or US server. So when we host a tournament between these two guys, there's going to be some latency issue.
Yeah,
So this
that's
is
super cool that you
something
mentioned the latency and that. We're having issues at Grape here where MMR Frank is going to be for how you get your earnings from it, and just it goes up and down. We have problems with being a European server, so the Australians can't play on that because the ping's 300 or 400. So that's all factored in then for your game clients and stuff like that. Is that going to push you for early adoption then? With you've only got 5,000 NFTs, it is a free to play game, but how do you think that's going to work with having to play on all different servers?
Okay, for traditional gamers, they can. It really depends on what kind of target audience we're getting. So far, I noticed in the community it's kind of mixed, and based on the stats I checked on people who are viewing the website, based on the stats I saw, is a lot of people are from Asia, from Philippines, Indonesia. A lot of people are from Asia, and second top is US. So matchmaking really depends how many active players are there, and we need to do a lot of marketing once the game goes live, because we need to bring in a lot of traditional gamers in as well. Once we can engage a lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers with more than 500k to 1 million followers, it will be easy to do the marketing to bring in more traditional gamers into it. It doesn't mean that they have to own an NFT to play this game. They can still play. Even if you don't own an NFT, you can still play this game, but you will be just using the default heroes, default weapons, and if you want to upgrade your heroes or characters, you need to purchase it directly from the NFT owners themselves. So we are also planning for this in-game marketplace. Means you don't have to go to secondary marketplace like Solana or Magic Eden. You can just list it directly in the game marketplace, so traditional gamers can purchase it directly from there. So what we are doing, how we are making this,
you're trying to make it a little bit safer, so that they'll be verified NFTs. People don't have to go searching on other marketplaces if they're a bit confused and haven't done that kind of thing. a way of onboarding people easier into your games. Yeah.
Yep, this has to be taught from a non blockchain and non-experienced. I mean, non-experienced NFT is still a very new thing for a lot of people. Since many people still looks into NFT as a kind of artwork and nothing more than it. So let's say if you are going to bring in traditional gamers into this space, they won't have any experience in NFT or blockchain. So we need to make it easy for them. So let's say if they are going to win a game and they have earned X amount of myth tokens, it is going to appear on their account dashboard. So they just, when they click on claim, it is going to prompt them to set up a wallet, and that wallet will be seeded with 0.01 sol. So at least it will be user friendly, and they will get a rough idea how to get into crypto space. So things are being also planned from a non-blockchain user experience point of view.
That's awesome, dude. That's amazing. I really appreciate you coming on stage. It was a really good session. Like I said, we had around 50 people, so there was a lot of lads I did notice from unverified wallets. That means that you've had a lot of people come in from ChainMyth come across tonight as well. I put you as number 6 for the month. I'm probably interested to change that looking further at December. It sounds like you're going to be possibly playable by Q1 and have the good potential. So you're looking at, did you say only 20 to 30 people to play test by the end of the year? And that's going to be from your, I'm guessing, your ticket holders and your early supporters. So can anyone get a chance to come in and get on that beta testing from now?
Okay, for this alpha testing, we're just going to get like 20 to 30 interested users, most likely the golden ticket holders. So once we onboard them, they can stress test the existing characters. So far, we have 6 of the characters ready. Game ready means it's already rigged and animated. So we want the golden ticket holders from the community to come in, stress test it, test the movements, abilities, magic spells, make sure that everything's working fine. So at least if some people from the community test it, they know how it is. They'll give a better feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get people that can actually test things. That's important. That's super cool. And I guess one more question is: are you guys hiring? Is there anything in particular you need from community, game devs?
Okay, for now, the only talents which we are missing in the team is, like I mentioned earlier, it's the hardest part of the game, which is VFX artist, SFX artist, and all the character voiceovers. Anything related to sound engineer works. So we do not have talents for that, and that part will be outsourced
Well,
to
funny you
studios.
say that. We've got a work ticket system here at Grape, and we do have a voice actor as one of our roles. So yeah, that's cool. That's awesome, dude. I'll ask one more time. Anything else you want to mention out?
That's it, man, from my end.
That's amazing. I'll go for a cut tomorrow. I've got the day off, but thank you everyone for coming along. That was cool. We had some great interactions from the crowds. You've made me old Barndog happy. It was cool to see so many people. So this is the time zone you're going to be aiming at initially. I would imagine it's a slowly growing space. We need to get the awareness out there, but we'll go for a stage close, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming along.